Good morning. Excited to be back here in Indy. Looking forward to seeing all you guys throughout the day. I want to thank Commissioner Warren for his leadership. Last year for us was a big step in the building process of the Maryland football family. We had a winning season, bowl victory, moved into a brand new facility, the Jones Hill House, and saw our team really come together up in New York. We have high expectations for ourselves this year. You know, when you have the type of year we had last year, the natural reaction is to say, let's build upon it. We don't see ourselves building on it because last year's version of Maryland football is no longer here. And I hope what we can take from last season is the work that we put in, the necessary process that we put in place for us to have that type of year. And so we're looking forward to this year's version of the Maryland football family, doing the necessary things, playing with the type of discipline, the type of toughness, the type of effort, as well as being committed and connected to take the next step that we need to take as a program. We have high expectations for ourselves heading into the 22 season. It's probably the deepest football program or football team that we've had since I've been back here at Maryland. On offense, we have over 163 starts, 15 different guys that have started a game. On the defensive side of the ball, we have over 113 starts with 16 different guys having started a game. I'm a strong believer in continuity and leading to success, and for the first time, we have a coaching staff, whether it's the offensive coordinator, Dan Enos, coming back, along with Bryant Williams, our defensive coordinator, who took over the last couple of games of last season, and both those guys have done a tremendous job on those two phases, and I expect us to continue to take that next step. Talia Tungavailoa returns for a third season after breaking numerous Maryland football records. I don't think there's a more underrated player in the country than Talia Tungavailoa, and I'll continue to say it, as he's a guy that has really been the catalyst to making us go on offense. All five of our starting offensive linemen are back, and to me, that is the most improved unit on our team, and I'm looking forward to seeing us take that next step. Consistency in the coordinator room, as I talked about earlier. Dan Enos has been a godsend for me, being an offensive guy. He's one of those guys that has come in and called plays with his personality and really did a good job leading the offense last season. I expect us to continue to play really well and be explosive on the offensive side of the football. Brian Williams was elevated to the defensive coordinator position right before the Rutgers game, and I thought he did a tremendous job leading the defense from the front of the room. He's been with me since I got hired in 2019. We brought in some new coaches on both sides of the ball that I think have continued to bring and add to what we do. I want to give a lot of credit to our players. These guys have really put the work in. Like all programs, they've really done a great job of buying into all of the things that we've asked them to do, as well as our strength and conditioning staff headed up by Ryan Davis, who continues to be the glue for our program. We report to training camp in exactly 1 week, and I'm really excited about seeing what this version of the Maryland football family looks like. And I'm really, truly appreciate all that you guys do in terms of covering college football and really looking forward to this season. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Down in front here.
Hey, Coach. Ryan McFadden from the Baltimore Sun. How's it going?
What's up, Ryan?
I want to ask you about Dante Demas. Just what can you share with us about his recovery process, and is he someone you expect to be ready for week one?
Yeah, Dante is ahead of schedule. Actually, really been impressed with the way he's returned. Our training staff, led by Brian Somerville, has done a tremendous job getting Dante back. I think, last week he broke 21 or 22 on the catapult, which means he's got that explosiveness back. We do expect him, barring any setbacks during training camp, which we'll do a good job of trying to protect them and get them to that opening game. But there is the expectation that we'll see Dante Demas playing in the first game.
We'll go over here to my right again.
Jay Stevens, Locked On Podcast Network. In what areas have you seen growth from Talia in this offseason?
You know, the biggest thing for me with Talia is to, as we talk about in our program, you know, every play has a shelf life, meaning when the play is over, it dies. And for Talia, he's one of those guys that puts a lot of pressure on himself. There's nobody that has more expectations than he does. And what we've seen him do here from, I say, midpoint of last season on, is I've seen a maturity in how he manages himself, whether it's a good play, not letting that good play get him too high, or if it's a bad play, letting it kind of get him too low. And we like to keep him at that neutral position. I've seen that growth out of him. I see a comfort level in our system. And to me, that's probably, if there was one area we wanted to see him improve in, is just the emotional maturity. And we've seen that out of Talia.
Did we have a question over on this side? I thought I saw somebody with their hand up. Oh, over here. Oh, okay, we've got two here. I'll go here, and then here.
Hi, Coach. Tino Bovenzi with Spectrum News 1. Being on the East Coast, how do you, what's your reaction to this Big Ten expansion, adding USC, UCLA, that flight that you guys will have to take every now and again, how that changes things for student athletes and the future overall?
You know, I think it's a win for the conference, and obviously, you know, the commissioner and the powers that be felt that they are a fit for the Big Ten. Very like-minded. Two universities are very like-minded to what the Big Ten's all about: great academics and great athletics. And so, to add those two type of teams that have storied history is a win for the Big Ten. As far as the flight, you know what? It is what it is, and you know, for us, you know, we'll play the games that end up on our schedule. We'll manage it and come up with a way to hopefully allow us to get out there and play our best. But great to have those two storied programs come to the Big Ten.
Michael over here, XL Sports. A lot of talk, of course, of Maryland is the offense. And first off, congratulations on the winning season since 2014. The question I have is your front seven on the defense. Where do you see some improvement at? Because your back end looks pretty good. Talk a little bit about the front seven, if you can, for a couple minutes.
Yeah, you know, the biggest thing I'll say about the front seven, first of all, we've got a lot of experienced guys with Mo Kite coming back for a third season, Ami Fee now. We've had a lot of injuries. That's kind of been our Achilles heel on the defensive side of the ball. We've had a lot of injuries. You know, Darrell Chami is healthy, one of the best pass rushers in our program. And like you talked about, having our secondary back, a guy like Deontay Banks, Jacorian Bennett, Tarheeb Steele, all three of those guys lost games last year due to injury, and having those guys healthy, and as well as you know, that second level of our defense last year. We lost Fanaje Gote in our opener, a veteran player that has played a lot of football. And then there's been the addition of some really talented players. We brought two freshmen in mid-year, Caleb Wheatland and Jayshawn Barham, who we think will add tremendous depth. But I think the biggest thing with our front seven on the defensive side of the ball is that we have experience and we're healthy. And it's, you know, we need to keep those guys healthy.
And we'll go with the last question here.
Coach, I just want to get your view on the current state of NIL and what are some improvements you personally think that should happen?
You know, NIL is one of those things that, as we've all said, it's good for the student athlete. They deserve it. As you continue and as we continue to kind of figure it out as coaches, there are some guardrails that we need to put in place. You know, obviously, once they're in your program, for them to take advantage of their name, image, and likeness, and for a place like Maryland, being located in between two major metropolitan areas, you've got over 10 Fortune 500 companies in that area. I think it would be very beneficial for kids in our program. But what we've got to do is control it and how it's being used in the recruitment of players. And to me, that's where I think we've got to continue to try to find a sweet spot with how it's managed and how it's used. But I'm all for it. I've been on a record for being all for NIL, and we'll continue to navigate it as we learn it.